When a 5-year-old girl walks into the office of a powerful CEO wearing a janitor's uniform, her mission is clear: save her mother's job. It was a slow Monday morning when the receptionist at Falcon Corp noticed a strange figure struggling to push open the heavy front door. Security looked confused. It wasn't a delivery. It wasn't a contractor. It was a child. Small, determined, and wearing a janitor's jumpsuit that dragged at her ankles. Her name was Lila. 5 years old, cinnamon-toned skin, big brown eyes shimmering with nerves but brimming with purpose. She didn't ask for help. She asked for Mr. Damien Steele, the CEO. The guard chuckled, then blinked when she handed him an ID, real, though clearly borrowed. The cleaning staff's. She said it was an emergency, the guard later told the HR director. She said she had to speak to the boss. About her mom. That moment, barely a blip on the building's schedule, would be the beginning of an unforgettable journey. At 42, Damien Steele wasn't used to surprises. His corner office, perched like a hawk's nest on the 60th floor, overlooked the skyline of Halberton City. He was known for cold efficiency, laser focus, and never ever missing a meeting. Today he was finalizing a merger deal worth $300 million. Then his assistant knocked. "Sir, there's a child here to see you. She says it's about one of the janitors. Her mother." He should have dismissed it. Instead, something made him pause. He nodded. Send her in. That decision, against logic, against schedule, would change his life. Lila stepped into the polished, intimidating office with trembling hands but a steady voice. "My mommy's sick," she said, climbing into a leather chair far too big for her. "She cleans this building but she couldn't come today. She said if she missed one more shift she'd be fired. Please don't fire her. I wore her clothes, I came instead." Damien blinked. The boardroom's silence had never felt so loud. Her voice cracked slightly as she added, "She's all I have." And somehow the CEO, who once reduced billionaire rivals to silence, couldn't find words in response. Pamela Dorsey had once been top of her class in software engineering. That was before life struck. A sudden pregnancy. A partner who vanished. A scholarship lost. Now 34, Pamela scrubbed toilets at Falcon Corp at night and helped Lila with homework during the day. But pneumonia doesn't check schedules. When her lungs failed, she called in sick. Again, she knew what that meant. She didn't know her daughter would try to take her place. Back in the hospital, she coughed weakly and worried only about one thing. Did I lose my job? Damien canceled his next 3 meetings. Find this woman, he told Pamela Dorsey. He didn't know why he cared. But something about Lila's eyes, those fearless eyes, shook him. For once he stepped away from spreadsheets and strategies and took the executive elevator down to the janitorial wing. People stared. Executives never came down here. Empathy wasn't policy, but it might become one now. Damien showed up at Mercy Memorial with flowers and a question. "Are you Pamela Dorsey?" She looked stunned, worn out, her curly hair matted against the pillow, IV in her arm, and exhaustion heavy in her eyes. "Yes. Is something wrong with Lila?" "No," he said softly. "She saved your job today." And then, against every HR protocol, he pulled up a chair and listened to her story, really listened. Pamela told him everything. How she once designed encryption systems, how her life derailed, how she dreamed of returning to tech but didn't even have Wi-Fi at home. Damien didn't pity her. He respected her. She had more grit than most of his boardroom. He left the hospital with an idea, not charity, opportunity. When Damien suggested creating a technical advisor role for Pamela, the board revolted. "She's a janitor. No degree, no references. And she's a PR risk," they argued. Damien's response was blunt. "She has more practical intelligence than half this table. If she fails, we lose nothing. If she succeeds, we gain everything. Sometimes, leadership means breaking the rules." Pamela's hands trembled as she touched a keyboard again. 10 years since her last code, but it came back, muscle memory wrapped in hope. Her first project, automating janitorial schedule software that had plagued the team for years. She solved it in a day. The head of IT was speechless. "Where did we find her again?" Damien smiled. "We didn't. Her daughter brought her." Falcon Corp changed, slowly but surely. More inclusive, more human. Pamela became a symbol, not of pity, but of potential. And Lila, she became the unofficial mascot of the company. Everyone knew her name. Everyone remembered the little girl who marched into the CEO's office with love as her mission. Just as things were beginning to stabilize, a shadow from Pamela's past returned. Marcus Lane, Lila's biological father. He hadn't been around in 5 years, not a single visit, letter, or birthday card. But when he saw Pamela's name in a viral article about her remarkable rise at Falcon Corp, he resurfaced with claims of paternal rights and whispered threats of a custody battle. He painted Pamela as unstable, referencing her time spent in shelters and her lack of formal employment history before Falcon Corp. His motivations weren't love or concern for Lila. They were pride, entitlement, and the potential for media attention. Pamela was shaken. For a moment, the fear of losing her daughter nearly overwhelmed her. But this time, she wasn't alone. The moment Damien saw the court notice, he called his legal team. Not Falcon Corp's lawyers, but the best family law attorney in the state. Within 24 hours, he had gathered every positive performance review, media piece, and even school testimonies, speaking to Pamela's fitness as a parent. But he didn't stop there. Damien went on national media. In an emotional interview, he spoke not as a CEO, but as someone who witnessed Pamela's transformation. Pamela isn't a liability, he said. She's an asset, not just to Falcon Corp, but to her daughter and this world. And I will stand by her, always. The public support was overwhelming. Facing a PR nightmare, Marcus dropped the custody battle quietly. Pamela's relief was immeasurable. But what moved her most was that Damien never questioned her worth, not for a second. Even with the storm behind them, healing wasn't instant. Pamela had built walls, scarred by abandonment and hardship. Damien, though deeply supportive, was still learning how to navigate the delicate balance of supporting her without overshadowing her independence. It was in the quiet, ordinary moments that trust began to regrow. Like the evenings when Damien would pick up Lila from school while Pamela worked late on a coding project, or the time Damien sat in on Lila's parent-teacher meeting, completely blending in with the row of nervous guardians. Pamela noticed the way Damien never treated her like a charity case. He saw her strength and made space for her growth. Slowly, she began to believe it was okay to lean, not because she was weak, but because someone finally had her back. Damien wasn't without his own burdens. Behind his polished image was a man who had sacrificed friendships, family, and even health in his pursuit of success. The loneliness was always there, waiting in his penthouse silence. Pamela helped him see that vulnerability wasn't a flaw, it was a bridge. She taught him to celebrate not just profits but people. They started cooking together, playing board games, failing at yoga classes in the living room. In the office, they tackled corporate challenges with mutual respect. At home, they laughed at burnt toast and bedtime tantrums. What grew between them wasn't just love, it was partnership, rooted in struggle and cemented in shared victories. Pamela's contributions became undeniable. Her first tech implementation slashed Falcon Corp's logistical costs by nearly $2 million. Next, she designed a custom onboarding tool that reduced new hire dropout rates by 40%. Her work was efficient, elegant, and user-focused, something Damien's engineers had been struggling with for years. She was soon promoted to Director of Innovation, overseeing a small but powerful team. What made Pamela special wasn't just her brilliance. It was that she'd walked in the shoes of the people her tools supported. She kept a pair of janitor's gloves on her desk, a reminder of where she started, of how far she'd come, not out of shame but in celebration. The $300 million merger with Stratovault finally closed. Reporters expected Damien to throw an opulent party at the Helix Hotel downtown. Instead, he did something unheard of in corporate circles. He invited the entire Falcon Corp staff, from interns to custodians, to a rooftop family picnic. No suits, no PowerPoint, just games, food trucks, and sunshine. Damien made a speech, not about market share, but about people. About unseen heroes like Pamela who bring quiet brilliance into the world. And then he handed the mic to Lila. "I just wanted to help my mommy," she said shyly. "And now we all help each other." There wasn't a dry eye in the crowd. It happened one quiet evening after Lila had fallen asleep in a fort made of pillows and glow sticks. Pamela came out from the kitchen, still in a sweatshirt with paint on her sleeve, to find Damien nervously pacing. "I know we already feel like a family," he began. "But I don't want to just play a role in Lila's life. I want to be part of it, forever." He opened a small box, simple, elegant. "I'm not offering a rescue, I'm offering a partnership." "Say yes." Pamela was stunned, then tearful, then breathless, and finally, yes. The next morning, Lila found the ring and shrieked, "Are we getting married?" followed by, "I get to wear sparkles, right?" They moved into a modest house with a wild backyard full of weeds that begged to become a garden. Pamela got her dream, a home where she could code from a sunlit office and tuck Lila into bed just down the hall. Damien found peace he'd never known. He cooked badly, fixed leaky faucets also badly, and read bedtime stories surprisingly well. The house wasn't grand, but it was warm, with laughter, crayons on walls, and tech gadgets scattered next to toy unicorns. It was the kind of life that can't be bought, only built, and together they built it. Inspired by her journey, Pamela launched the Backdoor Scholars Initiative, a scholarship and mentorship program for women in tech who came from non-traditional backgrounds. The opening ceremony was emotional, but it was Lila who stole the show. Standing tall in a sparkly dress and a pair of light-up sneakers, she read a speech she wrote herself. "My mommy was a janitor, but also a genius, and my new dad, he saw it. He didn't save her, he believed in her, and that helped her save herself. I hope you believe in people too." The video went viral. Donations poured in, and Pamela's story sparked a wave of hiring programs, mentorships, and corporate introspection. Change had begun, and it was contagious. All it took was one little girl in a baggy uniform, one oversized mop, one brave heart. Lila's simple act of love, trying to do her mother's job, unlocked something much bigger than she ever imagined. She didn't just change her mother's life, or Damien's, she changed a company, a city, maybe even the way people think about value and potential. Because sometimes the world doesn't need a hero in a cape. Sometimes it needs a child with courage, a mother with resilience, a man with the humility to listen. So if this story touched you, don't just watch, share it, believe in people, and don't forget to subscribe for more true-to-life stories that prove love, courage, and second chances really can change the world.